We are waiting a little bit. Мария, можно узнать, если там у оценка есть проблема? Она мне там написала. В Вайбере отдельно, не в группу. Сколько нас? Скажешь, когда мы можем начинать, хорошо, Мария?
Лена Мельник, я не вижу, есть.
Я тут.
Ага, да, все, не увидела вас. Я вам отправила доступ только что на Google Диск, где она записывает, но лучше, если еще и вы запишете, хорошо?
Так.
Вы там модератор контента.
Хорошо. А в Teams где записывать? Просто я с Teams. Ага.
Где троеточие? Нажимаешь.
Да, нажала. Стоп.
Угу.
Ну, только вижу стоп. Рекординг.
А потому что я рекордирую уже.
Ну, значит, будет одна запись, Диана, хорошо. Угу.
Это остается в чате, и каждый может потом себе взять эту запись.
В чате остается, да?
Да.
Ага. Хорошо, удобно. А как себя поместить, ну, вот в общую такую табличку? А то я только себя снизу вижу.
Все те, которые разговаривают, видят себя снизу. Ты хочешь скриншот?
Ну да. Угу.
Угу. Тогда ставьте все фотографии, я сделаю скрин. То есть включайте видео, я сделаю скрин.
Угу.
Отлично. Сейчас я еще раз сделаю. Все, вышли.
Да, хорошо. Все, да.
We can start.
We're awfully sorry for this delay because of technical problems. Normally we use Zoom and not Teams, and something happened wrong. My apologies again.
No problem. Absolutely.
Yesterday we had to transfer our meeting to Zoom.
Jana told me, yes, I know
So
Teams
today
is not friendly with guests. I don't know why, but
it's your strong corporate system of your university.
but for us too, if you want to participate in a meeting organized by another university, you have exactly the same problems, even if you have your Teams on your PC and so on. So I think this is a major problem.
But today we've got some changes to better. We're meeting together in Teams. It's a great success at all.
Okay, so we're starting with a great success. That's fine. Okay, so I don't know, Diana, if you want to introduce or if we can start directly.
Yes, I just did. Today, as far as you just know, we will speak about the quality assurance and the role of quality assurance in higher education. And here you have Professor Michaela Rossi, that is a vice rector, let's say it in English, or delegate of directors on quality of assurance. So you have the most important person from our university in field of quality assurance. So I give the word to the Professor Michaela Rossi.
Okay, Diana, thank you so much. Not the most important person. It's quite too much. Okay, so just a few words about before starting my presentation, and I would like, if you agree, just to introduce ourselves before beginning. I'm starting from myself, and then I will ask you to introduce, briefly introduce yourselves, just a few minutes to know what you do in your universities and what is your experience with the quality assurance system. Diana told you that I am the Rector's Delegate for Quality Assurance here in Genoa. I have been working in assurance since 2015, so some years. And I have been Vice Rector for Learning and Teaching between 2018 and 2020. So I have, I think, a comprehensive experience of our local system. But I would like to hear from you questions and suggestions at the end of the presentation today. And this would be very important for me to enhance the quality of our internal system. I am not an English teacher, and this is obvious. My English proves that. I am a French teacher, and my French is a little better than my English, but I think that this presentation will be given in English. So sorry from the beginning if my English is not so good. You will tell me at the end if something is not clear, or you will raise hands during the presentation. I will stop and then I will try and explain the concepts a little bit better. What else? No, okay. You have the to introduce yourselves very, very briefly before beginning. Thank you.
So who start?
Okay, let it be me.
Thank you.
Break
the ice. Ciao.
Okay, I'm a PhD professor in actually international economics, and I'm the founder of the course of European integration in Kyiv National Economic University. But the thing is, I spent more than 10 years in Ukrainian television as executive producer. Yes, and I was making Ukrainian Got Talent, X Factor, and dozens of shows, even The Bachelor, Farmer Wants a Wife. Before the current time, mainly I spend my time in position of flying professor. So I read a course in La Sapienza di Roma. I read a course in University of Foggia in Bari region. So also I do this for Constance University in Switzerland, and actually mainly I spent at least 3-4 months in Italy yearly. That's why I can't talk, but I understand everything what you're talking about. Yeah, still. But all in all, now we are in the grant project, and actually I responsible for the media policies of European Union. I explain them because it's my major. And so all time I try to mix my educational and academic stuff with my business. I do the reputation and public relations business for, actually I found the agency, and I'm working for Ukrainian government and parliament and all the stuff. So that's why I was asking at the very beginning about the vaccines, about the attitude of vaccines. If you need any kind of expertise in mass media, so here I am.
And politics and political consulting.
Yeah, and also political.
Yes.
But
Okay.
there
I'm
was
very interested because I am a metaphor scholar, and I
Oh.
work on the use of metaphor in institutional discourse.
Oh,
This is
that's
quite.
wonderful.
This is completely different from quality assurance system, but this is my research interest.
Take one of them. My favorite metaphor is everybody is asking me how you become. Okay, first of all, you was TV producer, then you become a lecturer in university, and then you become the political consultant. And I explain only one thing: that politics it's an standard show business and entertainment, but for ugly people. The only difference. Oh, that's all. Thanks much.
So maybe we'll have a pause at the end and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Who follows?
Olena Orzel, please, to change our discussion for more serious manner.
Okay, hello, I'm the researcher. I work for the Institute of Higher Education, and we are grouped as teams, research teams, and my previous research team worked on the topic of quality assurance. So quality assurance is really an interesting topic for me, and especially the aspect when we move from quality assurance to excellence and quality culture. But currently I'm part of another research team, and we research interaction, university community engagement, interaction between universities and society.
Okay, thank you. What we call in Italy the third mission.
Yes.
Engagement of universities in society. Okay. So who's next?
Lena Melnik.
So maybe it's me.
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Olena Melnik. I'm an associate professor and head of the project division at Sumy National Agrarian University. My background is ecology, ecological safety even, but I also work as a trainer of National Agency for Quality Assurance of Higher Education. So I train some experts on how to conduct accreditation of different study programs. Also do this work on my own. And as a head of the project division, I'm also responsible for cooperation with other universities, creating different and applying for different projects. And for example, recently, we won a very great project from International Labour Organization about inclusion. Inclusion is not my direct sphere or area of interest, but now it's changing, and it's very interesting for me how to combine quality assurance, inclusion, and social cohesion, labor market, and so on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Elena. Who's next?
Anna. Unfortunately, Elena Yatsenko, she couldn't switch on. She still experiencing some problems. You know something about me already. Thanks, Diana, for this introducing. Io parlo italiano, però comprendo Très mal.
No, molto meglio.
Très mal.
Much better for me than English.
Oui. So the main idea of to mix both our projects is to enhance our quality of education. We try to prepare this interdisciplinary team because we are participants from different universities. Now is trying to join Olena Troicka. She's a professor. She's the head of Department of Philosophy at the Melitopol State Pedagogical University. Olena, she is from Sumy Agrarian University. Andrew, he is from National Economic University named by Gateman, and also he's a professor at the Kiev University of Culture and Kiev National University of Art, and what else? Oh, you know, it's so Olena Orchard, she's from Institute of Higher Education. She's our mind, brain, and yes, and teacher. I always introduce her as my teacher because she also she was Jean Monnet coordinator at our National Erasmus office, and the idea of first our Jean Monnet module was social cohesion. The name of SCAES, Social Cohesion and Education and Governance, European Studies. I was an academic coordinator of this module, and we started from social cohesion. Also, thanks to Olena Orgel, we dipped into the theme of values, social responsibility of universities, community-based universities. And we tried to apply for some K2 Erasmus Plus capacity building programs. Diana helped us, but unfortunately, 82 balls, sector B. Yeah, we applied twice for capacity building with the theme. First one was structural innovations in higher pedagogical education system, because I believe that the responsibility of our educational system should be focused first of all on the pedagogical education, because we're just not link key focus between youth, society, and no, I think it's a very big responsibility, and we applied for consortium between various Ukrainian and European pedagogical universities. The second project was management by values. Help me, dear partners. MAVCA was management by values approach in quality assurance of higher education. I skipped this because of the fault. It's very painful. It's very painful for my memory, because we did a lot of work together. We construct I think very strong design about values as a key driver of management, educational management, and also as the foundations in teaching and learning. We are trying to implement values in horizontal and hierarchical structure. So our project, European Values of Diversity and Inclusion for Sustainable Development, is not similar, but we are trying to research and to find some methodological basis for this value-based education concept. Michaela is switching on. Yeah.
Thank you. You have raised some questions. We will maybe talk about during this first part of this morning of presentations. I don't know if there's anyone else who wants to introduce himself or herself, or if you think that
Marina, but she has some family troubles at the moment.
Okay, so don't worry. Maybe we can start. And okay, I have a little bit understood a little bit better, and I've turned off my camera because I have some problems of connection this morning. So I'm going to share my screen, and maybe we can begin, and then I will try and stress some of the questions you have raised during my presentation, because you have raised some important questions that we're working on here in Italy too, here in Genoa. So the relationship between the quality assurance system and the social role of universities is one of our concerns, and so on. So I hope we will talk about this during this morning. I think you see now my my presentation on screen.
Yes.
Okay.
There is.
Okay. Just try and switch to presentation mode. Okay. Okay. Okay, some words about our internal quality assurance system. Here you have our website. If you have some curiosities at the end of this presentation or during the week, you can have all the information available on this website. I will start talking about a bit about Italian quality assurance system for universities in general. I don't know if you are familiar with this system, but I think this could be useful for you to see how in Italy this works at a national level. Of course, we know that all the quality assurance agencies in Europe are linked to our European quality assurance international agency, but every system is slightly different. So maybe could be useful for us to start from the Italian quality assurance system for universities. Okay, some historical background. Our national agency for evaluation in university system is called ANVUR. This is the acronym for our national quality assurance. This agency was confirmed in 2010. Here you see, you can see that in 2010 we have had very important law, a fundamental law for a university system in Italy. This law is the actual norm system that we have to cope with since 2010. The main norm for organization of universities and for quality assurance, for a quality assurance system inside universities at a national level. So in 2010, ANVUR was confirmed inside the major system, the major norm system for the university organization in Italy. And in 2012, ANVUR started with a national quality assurance system for universities called AVA, which stands for autovalutazione, valutazione e accreditamento. Auto-evaluation, self-evaluation, evaluation, and accreditation. We will see that later. This AVA system started in 2012, had the first phase between 2012 major revision of this system, which was called AVA. And we're waiting now for another review of this system, which will be called, of course, AVA 3. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Now, can I ask a question at this point?
Yes, I think so. Yes, but probably we should wait, Michaela.
Sorry, so sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I have some connection problem. Okay. Okay, I see you again, and I try and share the screen again, so sorry.
Olena Orgel wanted to ask a questions.
Yes.
If I can, do I understand correctly that you have two agencies for quality assurance? One is UNVUR, and this is like National Agency for Quality Assurance, which sets the policy, and another is AVA, which is engaged in accreditation, evaluation, and attestation.
UNVUR is the main national agency, and AVA is the name for the system of rules that UNVUR stated for universities.
But the agency
this is the main difference. So AVA is the system, and UNVUR.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks to you.
One more question. Do you have any other, maybe like private agency that will get licensed by AVA? No.
Universities, you mean?
No. Additional institutions, probably non-government or private.
Or as far as I know, UNVUR is the only national agency that gives accreditation to private and public universities in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
This
Olena,
is the only.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yes, now we are in the process of reforming of our higher education system, and some international organizations like British Council and other organizations. Olena Melnik, she is a trainer in the program of national quality assurance accreditation system reforms. I was an expert, but without certification. I've skipped more than 40 minutes during my training, so I'm not certified expert. But I also passed this qualification training. We are trying to enhance this quality assurance, engaging system of quantity of national experts to disseminate these rules and to help our NACA, National Agency of Quality Assurance, to conduct this accreditation. Are there any similar approaches in Italy? Or
Yes, this is what UNVUR does too. I mean, they have, we will see that for accreditation later in the presentation, but anyway, we have a system of different boards of experts in Italy who come from universities, who are experts in quality assurance system, and they are charged of accreditation system in general, as we will see it later, and of dissemination in universities too. This, I don't know if this is what you
Yes,
wanted to know.
thanks.
Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to, maybe you can see my presentation. You still can see my presentation, I think.
Yes, we can see, but
Okay.
I would like to ask you to switch on F5 or start from the beginning or from the current slide.
I will start from this timeline. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to you. So 2012, the first system of rules, in 2017, the second, and we are now waiting for the third. So in 2021, Hamburg will tell us how our system will be changed and what will be the main rules for accreditation from now on. Okay, in 2012, the first AVA project was regulated by the government, and the government settled the rules for the procedure for accreditation and evaluation for university courses, so university programs and settings, through, first of all, the introduction of an initial evaluation for university settings and courses, and the introduction of a recurrent evaluation. So we have two phases of evaluation in Italy for study courses. The first is an initial phase when the course starts, and normally every 5 years we have a recurrent evaluation of the university, of the whole of the university, and of the different study programs, of some study programs, not all the study programs. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. And in 2012, the government introduced also an evaluation system, of course, and a system for quality assurance for evaluation of efficiency and effectiveness of didactic aspects and research aspects. So we will maybe focus mainly on didactic quality assurance, learning and teaching quality assurance, but we will have a phase on the system of quality assurance for research. And since 2018, we have also some guidelines for the quality assurance system as far as the third mission is concerned. So we are now working on mainly on third mission system. The other goal of this first AVA system in 2012 was the empowerment of the system of self-evaluation of quality assurance. The main aim of the first system, in other words, to build a self-evaluation system of universities as far as teaching and research activities were concerned. In a first phase, the third mission was not considered as a goal, and we started working on it in 2018. I don't know if you have any question about this slide or some comments.
Clear, thanks.
Okay. Okay, so in 2012, Hamburg has published a main document which was called the Self-Evaluation, Recurrent Evaluation and Accreditation for the University System, and has defined a first quality assurance model updated in 2017, and which will be updated during this year, into 2021. We're waiting to see which will be the main changes. We're quite interested in knowing as soon as possible which the main changes will be. This first model, updated in AVA 2 in 2017, defines the main aspects of a quality assurance system as a national system. First of all, the requirements from a quality assurance point of view for the accreditation of universities and study programs for courses. Requirements for the initial accreditation, and then requirements for the recurrent accreditation, which takes place every 5 years. And the requirements for quality assurance at university level. the reference of number of students for accreditation, and some indicators. And this is very important for the recurrent evaluation of research, third mission, and teaching activities inside universities. So we have a panel of indicators that we have to check every year, as far as study programs are concerned and as far as universities are concerned. And these indicators are quantitative indicators about the effectiveness of our teaching system and of our research, and maybe for the third mission, this is not so clear at present. And this is something that we have to work on during, I think, during this update in 2021. Because for research and for teaching activities, indicators started in 2017. We are quite familiar with them now. We have understood, or we have tried to understand, which are the main issues regarding these indicators for the students' careers, the student satisfaction, and so on. For the third mission, we have some problems now in defining in a precise way which indicators we have to use, what is the extent of impact indicators on social activities. And so this is a debate which is taking place just now.
Michaela, yeah. Sorry, could you please, if you were to say a few words about a third mission, to explain and how to implement this approach? I think it's similar to social responsibility of universities. It's our favorite theme in our discussions with Olena Orzel. And it's maybe similar to this approach of community-based universities. And is it close to long life learning, or what does it mean in Italian way?
Okay, this is quite a vague concept for us too. It has been a vague concept, quite clear now, because we have just undergone a recurrent evaluation for all universities about our quality in research and quality in third mission. So we had to deepen this concept, understand this concept. In Italy, the first mission is normally learning and teaching. The second mission is research. The third mission gathers, in a way, technological transfer, social engagement of universities, public engagement, lifelong learning, and empowerment of citizenship in a large sense. Mm-hmm. And this means that indicators for all these kind of activities are quite difficult to find and to define. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if you have the same problems. But...
Yes, sure.
Yes, because the same problems.
We do not have any formalized third mission in the most of our universities, as far as I know. It's the concept of social responsibility of universities is quite new. We are trying to implement the approach of social innovations in education. Olena Yatsenko, hi, because we have to prepare this course about European experience of social innovations in education. And I would be extremely grateful to you, dear Michaela, if you will help us to explain this approach more in more details.
Okay, so this year I can tell you that sorry, Olena.
Can I add something? And currently in Ukraine, in our universities, we are trying to include this third mission in our strategy development. But as according to our procurement of conducting accreditation procedure, we don't have such quantitative indicators. that show us how can we measure. For example, we can measure research by counting articles or each indexes or something like that.
For economical impact of this research,
we can also calculate some maybe teaching issues. I don't know. There are also a lot of different curricula and so on that we can measure, but how to indicate a social mission, it's something new for us. I think in the future we should develop this direction. It's very important, but maybe it's very interesting for us how you calculate or measure it in Italy.
Yes, I think this is quite a major problem for us too, because they have AMPUR has given us very recently some guidelines for evaluating third mission activities, and because every sector of third mission must be evaluated with different indicators. I mean, lifelong learning is not the same than
social engagement, transfer of technologies. Yes.
Okay, so this was quite difficult for us. They have given us some guidelines and some example of indicators, and they stressed a lot the importance of impact indicators and benefits for the receivers of the action.
Yes.
And this makes it very difficult to evaluate, because they ask us to evaluate the third mission actions on the basis of social, cultural, and economic indicators. So, for example, all the activities of social engagement must be or should be evaluated on the basis of the social impact on the public, on society in general, on the basis of the cultural impact on society, but also on the basis of the economic impact and benefits for the receivers of the action. I don't know if I...
Yes, it's clear, yeah.
And this is a main challenge for us, because okay, third mission is something vague in general for universities in Italy. This is a concept that comes from 2017 model, so just a few years ago. We are not accustomed to have a quality assurance system, a sound quality assurance system for the third mission. So we have to build it in our universities. And then there's there's not a tradition for gathering in databases, for example, impact indicators and so on and so forth. So we make a lot of actions, but we're not accustomed to a quality assurance system for this kind of actions. And this is the major problem when you have to evaluate or self-evaluate your system, and you realize that you have not gathered enough data, for example, to account for a social impact or an economic impact of something you do. I can cite you an example. Here in Genoa, we have a very important social engagement event, which is called the Science Festival, Festival della Scienza, and it takes place, I think, 20 years of Festival della Scienza by now, and a lot of events for science explanation, and in a certain way for teaching for schools, and in general for social engagement events. It lasts 10 days, so it's a very big event. It's a very important event at the national and international level. Maybe one of the most important events in this kind of social engagement events in Europe. But we never thought about gathering indicators, or we just partially thought about gathering indicators about the economic impact of this kind of event, or on the social impact of this kind of event. So, for example, there are many workshops and events during this festival to explain to students, to school students, the importance of STEM disciplines, and for example, to explain I mean, to neutralize the gender gap for this kind of learning activities. But we have to compare the impact of these events with the number, for example, the number of students who choose a STEM core study program, the number of male or female who choose a STEM study program, and so on and so forth. So this is the main problem now. The ministry, by now, has not given precise indicators at the national level, but they have given us guidelines. And if you can read Italian, I can maybe in the end you will find some links in this presentation, and you will also find the guidelines for the third mission. This could be useful. Is not for by now it's not too precise, but it's coming anyway.
Yes, it's really a problem. I'm also a management consultant, and in business there is a sentence: when you cannot measure, you cannot manage. So, if we can't measure these indicators, this impact, we cannot manage this process. But as for me, the main problem is not in measurements, but in minds. To change minds of our education, of our educators. I mean, first of all, administrative top management of our higher education institutions to implement this approach, open society approach. This when we try to apply for capacity building, we try to change this approach. I mean, to turn our universities face to face with society, with community needs. Another project was university. Olena Melnik, she was national coordinator of this project. A university as a hub of community development. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, and we try to evaluate community needs and to implement some courses, not for bachelor's or master's or even for third age students, but to connect university with communities. Yes. Yeah. And to be, it's more easy. It's easier to provide this approach in small towns like Melitopol or Sumy. Sorry, the girls, but it's a British approach. Community-based universities, it's a British approach. We've been in the United Kingdom and many best samples of strong connection of it's just turning at the first stage of university development, like Oxford and Harvard. They were only as an answer onto community, local community needs. It's my opinion, but it's very difficult to do in big industrial cities like Kiev or like Kharkiv. But I know some. Even in Ukraine, I know some samples, good samples of this approach. But it's as for me, the main problem in minds, because we're just thinking like I don't know what's in English, shores. Like horses, like we are thinking only about our problems, internal educational problems, and we do not think about our external dimension.
Yes, I think that's this is a major problem in Italy too. This is a traditional problem. I mean, university has undergone a major change during the last 15 years. And this is another dimension that we have to keep in mind, that we have to work on. I think that a major problem now is the fact that universities are have a resource lack problem here in Italy. I don't know how is it. The situation is
worse.
Okay, so we are overwhelmed by the teaching and learning needs and the research needs, because we are evaluated on research, and this third mission, which could be the core of our activities, is neglected. Is very often neglected. I think that you're right when you talk about a changing mindset, but I also know that people are very tired after a year of pandemic, and a changing mindset requires help, I think.
Yeah, and it's necessary to have enough energy.
Okay, so maybe we'll return on this problem later. And anyway, I will give you the documents if this can be useful for you. And maybe we talk about Diana later and see if there are other documents which could be useful for you to ponder on this aspect of the third mission. Okay, which are the main tasks of our quality agency at a national level? Essentially, the following tasks. The first one is the supervision of the national evaluation system of qualities of universities and research institutes, because we have a system where universities and the research institutes are gathered together. So AMVUR is a supervisor for this quality assurance system. AMVUR leads the external evaluation of quality in activities in public and private universities and research bodies. So we have an internal evaluation. We will see that in a few minutes. And we have an external evaluation, which is led by AMVUR. AMVUR is in charge for the guidance of internal evaluation activities carried out by the universities and research bodies. So AMVUR is also the source of our guidelines, basically. And AMVUR is the source for the evaluation of the efficiency and the efficacy of public financing and the programs for promotion of innovation and research activities. So by now, AMVUR has worked a lot on guidelines and standards for research evaluation, which take place every 5 years. And we have just undergone our last evaluation for research and the third mission. And then is responsible for the external evaluation of a learning and teaching system. And this takes place too in every university every 5 years. This is the actual, this is the system by now, the present system. These results are public, so every university is evaluated and the evaluation is published on the AMVUR site. The reports of the different evaluation phases, this is published on the AMVUR site. And they are basically the basis for the allocation of state funds to universities and the research institutes. So we are evaluated and we're funded on this basis. Every 2 years, AMVUR draws up a report on the state of the university and research system. And this can be interesting for us to know what is the national university system at present. Of course, this system called AVA, which stands for Autovalutazione, Valutazione, Accreditamento, that is to say self-evaluation, recurrent evaluation, and accreditation, is based on the ESG, the last version of the ESG. I can add that the ESG are quite clear, and our AMVUR system is quite, I don't know if you say it in English, baroque. But anyway, this is much more difficult. The ESG are quite clear. Everyone understands and can agree. And then you see the national system, and the national system has some more difficulties, and it's not so friendly for people working on it. But anyway, the principles are exactly, of course, the same. Okay, the quality assurance system that Hamburg has settled is based on some important elements. The first is a system of initial and recurrent accreditation, as I was saying before. So when we create a new study program, we have to undergo the evaluation of quality assurance system by Hamburg. And every 5 years we are evaluated on our study courses and our general settings by Hamburg. This system establishes too that every university must have an internal system of quality assurance, which can be slightly different from one university to others, because every university in Italy has an autonomy in the management of the quality assurance internal system. And every university must have some quality protection teams, quality assurance teams. Normally, as we will see that later, basically in Italy we have an internal team and an external or partially external team. We have an internal evaluation by committees and evaluation teams of universities. And we will see that later. Every 5 years, we have visits, accreditation visits from Hamburg. And these visits are led by joint committees, students and teachers, experts in quality assurance system, who evaluate by an external point of view the quality assurance system and the results of our universities. And then we have a system of external evaluation led by Hamburg. So the main, if you want to have just a brief summary, we have an internal. We are called to have an internal system, sound internal system, and then we undergo phases of external evaluation, recurrent phases of external evaluation. The internal quality assurance system is the requirement for the accreditation of our courses and of our universities in general. Accreditation is not an internal process. This is an external process led by Hamburg, and it's divided into an initial and a recurrent accreditation. This has been a very important change in our system, because of course, before our universities could choose to create new study programs and so on, and there was an accreditation from the ministry. Now we have an accreditation system for initial accreditation, which is very sound and very precise. So every university in Italy to start a new program has an accreditation system to respect. And then to maintain our offer of study programs, we have to undergo, as I was saying before, a recurrent accreditation every 5 years, a recurrent accreditation. We will see the system later. We have undergone our last accreditation in 2018, and we will probably undergo another accreditation in 2023. Okay, some words about the initial accreditation of study programs. This is awarded to courses and settings according to some requirements, minimum quantitative and qualitative requirements. The qualitative requirements are verified by Hamburg through a committee of experts of evaluation, which are called the CEV, Commissioni di Esperti di Valutazione. So the new study program is analyzed by a committee of experts of evaluation, or the existing study programs are evaluated every 5 years by these committees of experts of evaluation, external experts of evaluation, which are composed by teachers and also by students. This is very important in our internal quality system, the students' voice, the students' participation, which is a very important issue, and it's also a major problem because it's very difficult to really integrate the students' voice inside the quality assurance system. Mm-hmm. So this is a work that we constantly carry on. So this committee gives an evaluation, and Hamburg gives its opinion, and then the accreditation of the new course is submitted to the Ministry of Education that finally authorizes this accreditation. This is a procedure that normally takes place between October and February every year. So every year we can propose new study programs, and Hamburg and the ministry will evaluate and accredit our new courses.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me, Michaela, who are members of this committee of experts of evaluation? Are they part-time involved in this committee, or they're fully paid by government, or are they members of ministry, or what?
This is an interesting question. They are normally every year or every 2 years, Hamburg makes a call publishes a call for this kind of experts of evaluation, and we can, all of us can apply for this call. So this is a peer-to-peer evaluation normally. Mm-hmm. Professors from other universities come and then visit our university, and then there's a peer-to-peer evaluation. Of course, for participating, for applying in the call, you have to satisfy some requirements. You have to have some experience, for example, in quality assurance system and so on and so forth. Then there's a selection, and then there's a phase of training. So Hamburg makes a training for these committees, and then and this is another activity that we can do with our normal activity in our universities.
Is it similar to our, almost the same, but inconvenient question? Is it paid for or not?
I don't know.
No, because I'm expert in evaluation of scientific and innovative activity, and this expertise is free of charge. But this quality assurance accreditation of educational programs, fortunately, it costs some money.
I think that the people, I can give you some details if you want, but later. But I think that people who participate in this kind of activities are normally reimbursed for their work. I don't know if it's so painful in economic terms.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think maybe not so much, but anyway. Okay, so this system, of course, has some strength point and some weaknesses too. In the extent that, of course, the peer evaluation is a very good system, but it also can produce some distortions. Mm-hmm. And this is a major problem for Hamburg, because they have declared during in their last program for 2021-2023, they have declared that they're going to make an analysis of the different reports of committees of experts of evaluation to check if the criteria and the modalities of evaluation are really harmonized because there's anyway there's something subjective inside evaluation, peer-to-peer evaluation, normally as far as qualitative indicators are concerned. So they're going to make this check, and this will be, I think this will be very useful for the system. Okay. Okay, so the initial evaluation I have described. The recurrent evaluation is based on visits on site, visits on to universities from the committees of experts of evaluation. So the experts now, they're of course in 2020 and 2021, visits have been realized by telematic and teleconference means. But usually there's a visit on site because the committees can verify the quality assurance system and the sample of courses, a sample of study programs. It depends on the universities, and they can also verify the conditions of, for example, of study programs as far as infrastructures are concerned. They're going to verify some requirements. The most important are the following. So the adoption of policies of teaching quality at university level, the capacity of monitoring the application, and this is quite a major issue, of quality policies at the course level, the actions aimed at the improvement, continued improvement of the quality in courses, the monitoring power of universities aimed at assuring the quality of the courses, a real quality assurance system applied in the assessment sample of courses, and this has been a major problem for us because you can also fix a very sound quality assurance system at the central level, but then you have to work on the mindset of all the faculty to have a sound assurance system inside every study program. Then quality assurance policies in the research area. And now for AVA 3, probably the third mission area, and sustainable teaching based on the number of professors available of our courses. So this is the main requirements that AMVUR will check when the visit is conducted. The first phase of the visit is based on the documents. So they ask, of course, to the university all the documentation needed to evaluate these requirements, and then there's a second phase in on-site visit when the committees of experts of evaluation can ask questions about the documents or ask for precisions and so on, or verify some conditions on site. At the end of the visit, the committee releases a report which is published by AMVUR, and we are evaluated with notes on the correspondence of the requirements for the recurrent accreditation of the university and evaluation of the study program. As you can see, the recurrent evaluation is based on criteria and indicators that are measuring the financial sustainability of activities and the results of every university in terms of improvement in academic activities. So the first mission, the second mission, and now also the third. AMVUR selects the experts of the committees from a register of evaluation experts, as I was saying before. So I think every 2 years, if I'm not going wrong, they make a call and they select the experts of the committees. The experts can be of two different categories. There are system experts that are mainly that have an expertise in the whole quality management system, and then they have disciplinary experts, which are experts, of course, in their own discipline and their own area, and they evaluate the study programs normally. Whereas the system experts basically evaluate the whole university system. Okay, so I'm going to tell you now how it works here in Genoa. So how we have adapted this system to our own reality, because of course every university is can be slightly different in as far as management is concerned, and as far as the organization of the governance is concerned. And I will tell you later, because we have undergone some changes during the last year, because we have changed our rector and we have changed our governance. Okay, so we have here, I will be very brief, just to show you how the system is organized. Here in the center, you have the internal committee, which is called Presidio della Qualità di Ateneo. This is our internal committee for quality assurance. Then we have another board of evaluation, which is partially external. So it's composed by teachers and students, and 2 teachers out of 5 come from other universities. And 3 teachers out of 5 here come from other universities and are called by the rector. And 2 other teachers and the student come from our university. This is called the Nucleo di Valutazione, and this is partially external. So we have an internal board and a partial external board. Every year there's an annual evaluation by the internal board, of our evaluation by the external board, which analyzes, of course, all the indicators about teaching and about research, and also about the third mission during the last year. The internal and the external board are normally connected, even if competencies are slightly different, and of course they interact with the governance of our university. So with strategic plans and with strategic choices by university. Connected to our governance board, we have two other commissions, 2 other committees, one for research and one for learning and teaching by now. This is slightly changing. We are going to have, for example, now another committee for the third mission, which is composed by a representative of every department. So we're working on that phase now. Of course, our internal board interacts with our departments, our areas, which we call scuole here. So we have 22 departments and 5 schools here. I think that you have maybe already seen our internal system. And every department is slightly closed to the study programs. So all study programs are connected with the department. And then we have an internal board made by students and the teachers, normally evaluating the learning and teaching activities, which is external and has an annual report. And this annual report is analyzed by our internal quality assurance board, our external quality assurance board, and our governance system. And all of that is linked to the ministry and to our quality national agency. Of course, the connection is assured by annual documents. Okay, so we have an internal board, which is called Presidio, Universities Quality Assurance Board. It is the central body of our integrated quality assurance system. Okay, so here we have a photo just to show that there are real people beyond this system. This board is guiding and overseeing the processes relating to the obligation prescribed by AMBUR, and they are reporting directly and bilaterally with the peripheral system, that is to say with departments and study programs. This is the composition has slightly changed from the past, because in the past, inside this board, we had the vice rector for learning and teaching and the vice rector for research. By now, our governance has changed. There are some more delegates, So this has been reorganized. So it is composed by the Quality Assurance Delegate, which is the coordinator of this board, a representative for teachers, who is responsible for the processes at a university level, at a central level, and then 5 teachers who are representing every school with expertise in evaluation, accreditation, and quality, and who are appointed by the Academic Senate on proposal of the rector. So every school has a representative inside our internal board. And then we have a representative for the students, which is designated by the representatives of the students in the Academic Senate. So inside we have a representation for students and for teachers and for every school. I don't know if this is clear for you and I can go on. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, because I can't see you, so okay. So as you can see here, a very limited number of people, and this could be a major problem. So we have created another important figure inside our internal system. So we have this board which is central, and then we have every department has a QA responsible, which is a very important element of our internal quality assurance system, and has many tasks. For example, coordinating and supporting the study program in the preparation of all the documents, which are required by AMVUR for self-evaluation. He coordinates and supports the department in the preparation of research self-evaluation documents. And he is a sort of trait d'union between the internal board, central board for quality assurance, and his or her department. So as you can see in the slide, he or she has to promote training activities in the field of quality assurance for the faculty belonging to the department, support and verify all the implementation of the quality assurance system inside the department. This has been an important change for us. We have decided it in 2017, and it works. I can say that it works quite well. This is a lot of work for people doing this kind of tasks.
Interrupted.
I think Michaela have some problem with her internet.
Mm-hmm.
She told about at the beginning. Let's wait a little bit. Hope
Okay.
it's really interesting for you, no?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because
We'll discuss if there are some problems in departments or in the central system as well, the major issue and the actions and so on. And this has been very useful. It's a bit time consuming, but it works quite well. These are the tasks of the internal board. To come back to our internal board, this internal board has to organize and verify all the documents at a central level and at a peripheral level, and to collect data for the monitoring of indicators. This is very important because the internal board also makes analysis of data and indicators for the governance. And also to ensure the correct internal and external information flow, because the system has, as you have seen, is quite complex, and to carry out some training activities for the faculty, for all the faculty of the entire university. For example, this year we are conducting actions in syllabus writing, which is quite has some problem. We have been working on it in the last years, but this year we have made a training in all departments to all the teachers of our universities on how to write correctly a syllabus. And we are also training teachers in the elaboration of self-evaluation documents, which is not so simple. Okay, another committee working on quality assurance system is the research committee, which is composed by 22 representatives, one for each department, and works on the indicators and the quality assurance system at research level. So on doctorates, on spin-offs, and on technological transfer. And then we have a learning and teaching committee working on the learning and teaching aspects. So if you can see, this is quite a complex system, and it has taken some years to define. But I think it's quite understood now in the whole of our university. The Quality Assurance Board was created in 2017. In 2018, we had a recurrent accreditation, and we're still working on it. In 2019 and 2020, we have built a research and third mission internal system, which is made of document of self-evaluation by the departments and then a final evaluation by our internal board every year. So this is our website. Not everything is in English, but if you can understand Italian or if you need the translation, you can contact me. And these are some references which could be useful for you. Above all, as far as AMBER documents are concerned. And I will add at the end of this presentation, and I will send the presentation to Diana maybe, I will also add our frequently asked questions as far as the third mission is concerned. As I can see, this is the main concern for you. Okay, I think I'm finished. I thank you so much for your attention. And if you have some more questions, I will be glad to answer.
Thank you very much, dear Michaela. It was extremely interesting and useful. Sorry for this amount of questions, but it's very painful and very interesting theme for me. I mean, quality assurance. I'm trying to improve my own teaching and learning skills, and these values, as I told you, it's very interesting. Do you use any system similar to, if you know, 360 degrees in its evaluation from different part of stakeholders, evaluators? For example, teacher, each professor, for example, professor, his students, his head of department, his colleagues, and maybe some independent from outside of university or outside of department. It's like a circle,
yes.
multi-level evaluation system with quantitative and qualitative indicators, personal and professional, for example. It's competence approach.
In the whole system, the whole national system, we have an important role for the stakeholders in general, external stakeholders and internal ones. And the cycle is based on consulting regularly, once a year, external stakeholders and internal ones. For external stakeholders, we have committees. For each study program, we have committees formed by experts in general, in the sector, in the domain that the study program is in, to check if our offer is still compliant with the needs of the market, for example, for the work market in general. So we have to consult these committees regularly, once a year, and above all, when we want to change something in our study programs, we have to check if this is compliant with the needs of society. And then we have an internal evaluation by students, of course, every year. We have questionnaires every year about the quality of the study program in general, the services of the university, and every teaching program. So every teacher is evaluated by students, of course, and we have to take this in charge at all the levels of this quality assurance system. So this kind of feedback is taken, is analyzed by the study program, by the school, by the governance, by the internal board, of course, by the external board, and by the governance. So we have to analyze at all level. This requires not just a lot of work, but this requires also a change in mindset for teachers. And this is one of the major issues we're facing. So everyone must be aware that and this is one aspect. Inside our activities of faculty development, we are also experiencing just during the last few months some peer-to-peer evaluation system between teachers, and this works quite well in other contexts. For example, in other Italian universities, they have peer-to-peer observation programs, mentoring programs for teachers, and this is very useful. And we are trying and see what we can implement here inside our activities for faculty development. I don't know, Diana, non so se, sorry, I switched to Italian just a moment for practical information. Non mi ricordo se nel programma c'è l'intervento di Antonella che gli spiega magari.
No, Antonella aveva detto che non c'entrava niente con l'inclusione, quindi...
Ok, va bene. No, ma giusto per sapere se l'avevano già vista questa cosa oppure no.
No.
Ok, d'accordo. Ma magari ne possiamo parlare anche domani quando parliamo di... Maybe we can just see some points of this tomorrow when we talk about the
teacher learning. No, sì, insegnamento. Training for teachers. Michela is off for a little, so.
Do you have some kind of centers of competence development, center of competence development of teachers and university?
So Michaela is still off, but tomorrow you have a meeting with her on training courses for teachers. So she will say you about at the University of Genoa we have GLIA that is doing something for teachers. But I think Michaela can say more about because...
Sorry, my connection has failed. Okay.
So Maria, you can repeat your questions.
Yes, two questions. One is, do you have any competence development or competent assessment and development centers for teachers? That's the first question. And the second one, the system of financial stimulating of salary and or grade of teachers, are they connected with the evaluation, with this evaluation process, with peer-to-peer evaluation, with students evaluation, or it? I think Michaela is not here.
Okay, let's wait a little bit. She will.
Давай я спрошу по-русски, а она когда подключится, ты спросишь по-итальянски. Какой
Давай.
красивый вообще итальянский. Мы хотели вот в МАВКе, так же как в бизнесе, сделать центры оценки и развития компетенций учителей. И я хотела узнать, есть ли что-то такое подобное в Италии, и связана ли как-то система оплаты труда, ну, учителей, преподавателей в университете с их вот этой оценкой, и от каких показателей она зависит. Зависит, ну, и есть ли система грейдов, рейтингов, то есть вот каких-то классификаций.
Если... Okay, Michela, ti ripeto io la domanda. Siccome si parlava delle competenze, no? Ci sono dei centri che si occupano dello sviluppo delle competenze e poi influisce sullo stipendio del personale docente la valutazione delle competenze?
Okay, I'll try and answer. I don't know if I have the right answer. Okay, so the competencies of the teachers, I think you were referring to.
Just I'll try to explain again. We provided a Tempus project in our university, and one of the result of this project was a center of competence development of educators of universities. I'm also head of this research center, and the main task was to develop some important competencies of our educators, first of all in teaching and learning, and also some soft skills and maybe other competencies. So, and that was the first question. Are there any similar departments or institutional bodies inside of your university which are dealing with competence development, like in business? Because I know that there is approach of corporate assessment and development centers, internal or external centers. And the second question was about connection between this competence evaluation and salary and financial system of financial, not motivation, but stimulation of educators. And the third one, what's about students' evaluation of educators, of teachers? Is it objective, non-objective? Does it impact on the salary or grade of teacher, university teacher?
Okay, difficult questions. The first, maybe the easier one. We have in Italy by now different kind of centers of faculty development centers in each university working on the faculty development of teaching competencies. So the answer is yes. Here in Genoa, we have a teaching and learning center, which is organized and led by our colleague Antonella Lotti and our delegate for educational innovation here, because we have a delegate for educational innovation here in Genoa, our colleague Fabrizio Bracco. And this kind of institution works on the enhancement of educational competencies for all the faculty of our university. The fact that this can be evaluated is, it depends on universities. In general, the educational competencies of our faculties is evaluated by AMPUR, is evaluated in one of the requirements for the study programs. This is not so much evaluated inside the singular and personal careers for teachers. And this is another problem that we are trying to analyze at a national level, because it should impact on a scholar career. But here in Italy, the academic career is basically based on on research, even if you're evaluated in selections, we are evaluated also on our academic experience, but in quantitative terms, not in qualitative terms by now. So this is another major problem that we're facing at the national level. And the third question about the student evaluation, there are procedures, internal quality procedures here in our university, but in general universities, to take this kind of results into account. Even if, I think that this is a personal opinion, but I think that I'm quite sure that we should work a little bit more on students to make their conscious of what the evaluation takes on, and on how to evaluate teaching and learning, and not the individual person of the teacher, which is quite a bias, I think, in their evaluation sometimes. And so we have this is an area where we are conscious, and we are aware that a lot of work can be done in the future.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thanks to you. Grazie a voi. Non so se, I don't know if you have other questions. If not, I'm leaving the floor to Guido. Vedo che è arrivato Guido.
Okay,
Olena.
Yeah, my question is about students' involvement and external stakeholders' involvement in the committees. How difficult it is for you to involve students and external stakeholders, and how active are they? Thank you.
It depends mainly on the study programs, because this is a this is quite linked to our internal study program characteristics. It may vary on this basis. Basically, we have worked a lot on stakeholders' involvement during the last years, and I think that now we're quite we have changed something in the previous situation. So these committees are regularly consulted, and people are getting accustomed to this kind of relation with universities. It takes some years, I think, to build a fruitful relationship with external stakeholders, and it requires certain coherence. Having the same people participating in meetings every year, it helps, of course, to build a good relationship with external stakeholders. As far as the students are concerned, we are making a lot of actions during the last years to involve more the students in general in the university life. To make them conscious that they can live university as a whole, not just taking courses and having exams, but participating in the making of it. And we have done during the last years some communication campaigns about it, and now we're working on a trainer, because we have the elections of the representative for students during the month of May. And we will have a training for the new representatives, so for the quality assurance system, to make them responsible, to make them a real active part of the system from the very beginning. The main problem that we have experienced is that some kind of students, they normally last for 1 year, 2 years in their function, and then of course they graduate, so they abandon university, and this turnover is a problem, of course, because there's a lack of coherence.
Thank you.
I don't know if I have answered.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Olena.
Yes, thank you very much.
Now,
Thank you
Olena
very much.
Melnik. Wait, another question.
Thank you. I would like to ask you, can you say which 3 main issues were the main challenging when your new accreditation system has been launched? For example, in Ukraine, we faced with such problems that our experts trying to use their own trying to apply their own experience of their university. Sometimes it doesn't coincide even with national legislation, but they know, they think that is better, and they try to apply it. And sometimes our university are opposite this system. They understand that they have to undertake accreditation, but they don't know how to behave. They don't trust, some of them don't trust. Of course, we try to provide information, company, and so on in order to change the situation. And what was the main problems in Italy when this procedure has been launched?
I don't know if I have an answer, but I can tell you that I think that this kind of system requires a change in mindset in general. And in order to produce this kind of change in mindset, the most important thing I think is that these experiences should be meaningful. And this is the main issue. I mean, if you have a formal system, this will never work. If it's just a formal bureaucratic system, it will not work. So this is the main challenge for our ministry, to make it meaningful in some ways, not just by funding, but to make it meaningful for people. I think this is my major problem when I talk to colleagues, is that you should find something interesting and meaningful in that. If not, it's void of any interest, and I can understand it.
Does the system get support from universities? Do they trust this system?
It depends. It depends. I think it requires a lot of time, and that each university has to find a system to make it meaningful. But it takes a long time. I think it takes a long time, and that maybe we're not always helped by the fact that ministry sometimes changes the rules or subverts the rules and so on and so forth. This is, I think, this can be a problem for people, for individuals.
What about international accreditation? Is it popular to get international accreditation from other accreditation institutions?
In some domains, it is more popular in some domains. I think, for example, engineering or others are more accustomed to this. Humanities maybe a little bit less.
Your agency accepts that results of international
Our agency
accreditation?
has, in any case, you undergo the ANVUR accreditation anyway, even if you have another accreditation from another international body, which is analyzed, of course, by ANVUR, but you have to undergo the national accreditation.
Thank you. Thank you for your answers.
Thanks to you. Grazie a voi. Diana, if you have other questions, I will be there tomorrow on stage again.
Yes, I think so.
See you. We'll be waiting to see you tomorrow.
Keep your
Thanks a lot.
questions for tomorrow, because tomorrow we have another meeting with Michaela. So as far as you understand, Michaela is really engaged in this study visit. So thank you, Michaela. And see you tomorrow. Grazie ancora. Grazie.
Ci vediamo domani. Ciao, grazie a Guido della pazienza. Ciao, buona giornata.
Ciao Michele.
And now I give the floor to Professor Guido Amoretti. That yesterday you meet him as a former director of DIS4, and today you will meet him as one of the most important experts on psychology of aging, and he will talk to you about inclusive education, the case of third age education. So he will explain how it's work.
Good morning. Once more again on the screen. I would like to speak to you about old age.
So you have an hour, 1 hour.
1 hour.
Well, no, without any interruptions, maybe for 5 minutes, because it's very interesting lecture, not lecture, but discussion with Michaela, and maybe if, some rest for 5 minutes if Professor Moretti wouldn't mind. Maybe after his first part of speech, maybe now just a few minutes, or is it okay or not?
It's okay.
Мария, пусть он говорит час, даже больше.
Хорошо.
It's also dire what it means.
Let him to speak 1 hour and more.
Yeah, and I said, okay, yes, sure.
So I
Sorry.
can speak 1 hour from starting from now, or you need a rest now?
No, 1 hour from now.
Okay, about 1 hour, yeah.
No, 1 hour and more.
1 hour and more. Ah. So
Okay.
I say that today I will speak to you about third age, and particularly the possibility to think it at third age like one of the other example of inclusion, in particular inclusive education. To understand the problem, I need to spend some words about the general situation of third age in the world and in some particular countries, and then we will arrive to the problem of education to third age in Italy particularly, and in UNIGE at last. Okay, so I try to share my slide. Okay, and we can start speaking about the phenomenon.
Excuse me, could you please switch on for the previous slide? I'd like to make a screenshot. I'm awfully sorry, dear
I
Professor.
just did.
Ah, okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks.
But I believe that Diana will give you the slide short. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So to speak of population aging, we must understand that is a phenomenon that has taken an important proportion since the second half of the last century, and we can try to see through a great number of pictures, using pyramid pictures, the changes we have in the population from a demographic point of view, starting from 1950, so 5 years after the end of the Second World War, to 2020, and then the projection on the end to this century, to 2090. You must understand that from 95 to 2020, the world population has tripled. But in the same period, the number of people over 65 has more than increased fivefold. If we consider the forecast for 2090 of the world population, we can notice that while in 140 years it is quadrupled, estimates suggest that the portion of people over 65 years of age is 18 times that observed in 1950. So we have an enormous increasing of this particular part of the population, with this enormous growth have fantastic implication from the economic point of view and from the health point of view. We can see how the structure of the population has changed from 1950 to 2020, and how it will change further towards the end of this century. Here we can see on the left the situation in 1950, you can see we have a large base of this pyramid, and about 13% of young people from 0 to 4 years, and a little portion of population reached 80 years. The situation is dramatically changing in 2020. First of all, you can see that we have 3 times the people in the world. So from 2 billion to 7 billion people around the world. This is an enormous part of population. And if you see at the shape of the pyramid, you can see that the basis is more strict, and the part of the population in the world from 0 to 4 years is reduced to 8%, starting from 30%. And this is the result of these last 70 years. And the proportion of people who reached more than 80 years is very, very high. So now we have a lot of people who live until 100 years and more. And the situation is, if possible, worse in 2019, when you can see that practically all the level of age have the same proportion until 65, and then we have a little diminution of a little decrease of the people in the oldest phase of the life, and a great number of people over 100 years old. So already at a glance, it is possible to observe a change in the composition by age, with the passage from a pyramid shape to an ogive shape, in which each age group has a similar number of people. This fact, as we will say later, poses major problems for welfare system. This picture, although worrying in itself, is the average representation of the overall situation. But if we analyze the data by geographical and economic areas, we can see that in some areas the situation is already much more serious. For example, in Western Europe, the over 65s will account for more than 10% of the population as now in 2020. A figure that will be reached worldwide only in 2090. So Europe is older than the rest of the world. But in the future, also countries that for the time being have a low percentage of the elderly population are destined to face the problem of an aging population. So the growth of the hope of life that is very important in European countries is growing also in the other countries with some type of latency respect to the other people and the other countries, but have a great impact on the world situation. In China, the percentage of people over 65 is currently 6%, but will double by the end of the century. The African continent has an elderly population of 1.8%, so very slow, very little. But by 2090, it will reach 6%. While the population in China at the moment will suffer a slight decrease in the next 70 years, the African population will go from 1 to 4 billion people for the end of the century. And the elderly population will be 240 million individuals, like the current population of North Africa. So you can imagine that all North Africa was lived by only people, old age people. As you can see in this graphic, on the left, the situation in Africa now, so you see a beautiful pyramid, okay, with a large basis, and the more the age grow, the less the dimension of the figure. So it's a perfect representation of what is named pyramid population. But in 2090, we have an ogive figure. So we have a change, a very important change. And we can see that the very young people from 0 to 4 years passed from about 15% to no more than 8%. So we have a reduction in the birth rate and a growth in the middle age and then in the old age. As Valencia lives in Ukraine, we see the situation there, which is a particular situation from a demographic point of view, because we will experience a sharp reduction in its population in the future, a decrease of about 18 million inhabitants between 2020 to 2090. Obviously, if there is no reversal in the birth rates. The shape of the distribution tends to be cylindrical in the projection for 2090, with an increase in the population over 64 years of age, which will represent more than 28% of the population in 2090. So it's the figure on the left is the actual situation now. I don't know very well the history of Ukraine, but I think that the strange figure in the basis, where we have some ages that are less represented than other, maybe due to some factors like immigration or war, I presume, but I'm not sure. In 2090, the projection is a cylindric figure with a very little basis, about 4-5% of people between 0 to 4 years old, and about the same dimension for the other age classes. And a great growth of the last part of the life after 80 years old. I don't know if this figure is corresponding to the idea you have of your population. I hope yes, but I'm not sure, of course. This is only a projection based on the data of 2019, okay? But if we have not a change in the birth rate, the situation will be that. Italy is a particular example of old population. I said that in 2090, Ukraine will have 28% of people over 64. Okay, well, in my region, in Liguria, we have now that percentage. So we are at now as old as will be Ukraine at the end of this century. As you can see, now we have a basis, a very little basis of young people. We have a birth rate near to 0, and we have a major dimension of middle classes from 40 to 60 years old. And then we have a a gradually diminution of old ages until 100 years old. The situation will be more dramatic in 2090 when all the classes of age will be similar, and when we will have a great number of ultracentenarians, okay, people who have more than 10 years old. Italy is the second oldest country in the world after Japan. And currently, the over 65s represent about 23% of the population in Italy. But as I said, here in Ligurian, 28%. But in 2090, Italy will reach 33.4% of 65s, of over 65s. That means about more than 17 million people. Of course, the Italian population is very small compared to countries like China, India, or African states like Nigeria. And therefore, this high percentage translates into relatively small absolute numbers. However, these forecasts are very worrying from an economic point of view, and in terms of maintaining the welfare system, even though Italy is the 7th largest economic power in the world. It was before COVID-19. I don't know where we are positioned now, but in Italy, the old age index is the ratio between people aged 65 and over, and whose age between 0 and 13 will rise from 183 in 2020 to 253 in 2090. And about a quarter of the Italian population will be unproductive by age towards the end of this century. To this group of people who are not productive for age reason should be added the unemployed and the need, not in education, employment, or training. So what it means? This situation means that in Italy we will have a great problem in supporting old people, owing to the fact that a little portion of the population will be productive and give money to the system, the tax system. The increasing number of the elderly means that the weight of welfare will fall on a portion of the productive population, numerically much lower than the current one, with the risk, not to say the certainty, of a qualitative and quantitative lowering of health and social services, unless there is a substantial increase in the tax burden with all the repercussions on the economy that we know well. So we are in a bad situation in which from one part we have a great need of money to sustain people who don't work more. From the other part, we must probably increase the tax burden, but increasing the tax burden has a bad effect on economic with the growth of the prices to the people, and so we enter in a loop which is not a good situation. We must probably find some solution to this situation, because the system can go to a collapse. So if we consider that an increase in birth that which would compensate for the increase in the number of elderly people, but this is very difficult to predict in advanced societies in which the birth rate is near to zero, for a lot of consideration, social consideration, economic consideration, psychological consideration. The only way to safeguard the welfare state is to minimize the periods of non-self-sufficiency that affected the social and health costs. So we are working on the objective to reduce, if possible, the period in which old people are non-sufficient, because when they are not sufficient, they have a great cost. They are a great cost for the health system. The active aging is a life model that has been strongly sponsored by the World Health Organization since 2002, and that from 2015 is an integral part of the healthy aging concept. This is the new aging concept of World Health Organization. And seems to be able to contain the risk of non-self-sufficiency. Why? In which manner? First of all, the constant physical exercises seems to have a beneficial effect on health and the life expectancy. So, from one part, we live more, from the other part, we live better. We have the physical constant exercise reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. Cardiovascular disease are the first causes of death in the world. But pay attention, because a life in which I work hard, I'm involved in work that implicate a big physical effort, have not a positive effect on our health, but have a negative effect. So we must balance these two things. To have a constant physical activity during our life has a positive effect on our health and on our hope of life. One of the cornerstones of the concept of active aging is not related to physical activity. Physical activity is probably the most shown in the world, is of the television set, media, on the newspapers, and so on. All people say that you must do some physical activity because it is a good thing. Unfortunately, there are people that make too physical activity, and this is not a good manner to live. But what's most important is the mental activity. Mental activity is important because maintaining one's brain in exercise guarantees, in the absence of other diseases, a longer period of self-sufficiency. The importance of our cognitive processes is fundamental to maintain our self-sufficiency. I can live with a good level of self-sufficiency also if I have some problems, some physical problems, but I can't live in a self-sufficient mode if I have some mental problem, if I have some cognitive problem, if I have no memory, if I'm not able to take my pharmacology treatment, okay? If I don't remember to close the door, to close the gas, or something else. For this reason, it's very important to work on the mental activity, okay? So to maintain with some type of exercises the mental, the cognitive capacity of people, so that this person can have a good life from a qualitative point of view, from a psychological point of view, but also from a perspective of life. If we concentrate our attention on the mental activity, we can understand how important may be the university function, the university role on active aging. University can and I believe that must play a role in the diffusion of active aging by promoting initiatives capable of orienting people's lifestyles. So is really an educational function from a part of a university. In a preventive key, the universities can intervene by activating courses on the importance of healthy behavior, exploiting the skills of the faculties of health and of motor sciences, and addressing the issue of aging and the possibility of using residual capacities for the benefit of individuals and the community. In this case, I think that the contribution of the faculties of psychology can be decisive. Okay, it's very important because we must work on people, on how they think about the process of aging. Okay, one of the problems of our modern society is the tendency to avoid the idea that we must age. Okay, to avoid the idea means that I try to maintain my young face, my young physics, my young activities. I'm not so happy to see that my skin changes, that I am not more able to do something. I have some difficulties to accept that aging is only one part of our life, but at this time this part is not a residual part, it is an important part, because thinking about the average hope of life, we can think that one person who go to retirement have about 20 years to live without working. So have 20 years to full of some ideas, or some things to do, or some interests, or some hobbies, and so on. Okay, so it's very important to understand, to learn how to live aging, how to live aging, how to live the last years of our life that are not few but are many, in which we are not in a bad condition from an health point of view, but we can have a very intense, a very full life. And this is an occasion for us, we are going to this age, but also for the society that can take advantage from the resources, the residual resources of this type of people. For those who work, university already plays an important role with adult education. Among the desk, along with young people just out of high school, more and more often we find adults who return to study to complete their training or attend courses of higher education to increase their skills. So universities in itself already works with adult in using adult education. For the elderly, university has already played for years in many countries a function of stimulation to active aging. Educational initiatives have been carried out almost everywhere over the last 40 years under different names. University of the Third Age, Popular University, to name a few. So what we are doing in Italy in this direction. In Italy, since 1975, in Turin has been founded the Third Age University. In Italian, it's sounded Università della Terza Età. The acronym is UNITRE. UNITRE was a private venture, is a private venture, that tries to involve elder people in cultural activities. In 2019, UNI3 in Italy involved 310 universities. Universities, when I speak universities, in this case, are not public universities, but are UNI3 universities. So a group of people who organize in different cities the activity that the UNI3 program provide. More than 80,000 participants in all the nation. So if this is a big phenomenon that demonstrates two things. First of all, there is a great demand of learning, a great demand of education, a great demand of training. People who don't work more are interested to have something to do and to learn things that they have not had the time to learn in the past. The second thing is that we have a lot of people who is happy to be engaged in the activity of instructors, of teachers, of this particular person. A lot of teachers that are retired continue to work in these particular courses that are quite different from the courses, the traditional courses of the university, but that are at a high level and can be used to reach a good level of preparation in some field. UNI3 is not the unique example of active aging. Another example in Italy is with popular universities that are linked with the syndicate, the organization of travel. Popular universities are well widespread in the country. They have increased their presence in the last 20 years. Unfortunately, we don't have recent statistics, but we can estimate that they have a similar number to the UNI3 system. And then there are the experience that the public universities care on old age people. Because for more of a public university, one of the mission is to work with the people and to have some effect on the social system. So UNIJ has this experience that is UNITE, which is always university of the third age, Università da terza età, but without the R between T and E. UNITE is an experience that is growing up in this year. In the graph on the right, you can see that in the last data we have speak about 800 people involved in the courses. The organization is particular. We have some area courses between which courses people can choose from architecture, engineering, medicine and pharmacy, social sciences, so economic, law, education, science, political sciences, and so on, humanities, history, philosophy, modern language, literatures, and cultures. These area courses are organized in 2 appointments per week, about 2 meetings of 2 hours each, for a total of 50 meetings. And the people who pay a little fee, about 35 euros per year, can choose how many courses he wants, should she want, okay? Because there are no limits. It depends only the possibility to really frequent these courses. And can also select supplementary courses that are thematic, and they can choose from musical culture, like music in the world, a course of 40 or 30, 40 hours, Latin language and literature, history of Latin literature, from the archaic age to the late antique period, other 40 hours, history of art, Superman and walls, the monuments of the Genoese territory between the Middle Ages and the contemporary age, 50 hours. So these are thematic courses. It's very interesting, the last that I said, so history of art, because it permits to go in the city and go around to the city to see the beautiful monument that we have. But the people can also try to select basic, intermediate, and advanced courses on computer science and on language, foreign languages. We have courses in English, French, German, and Spanish. All these courses are possible because we have, of course, the collaboration of my colleague that teaches in the Faculty of Engineering or the Faculty of Foreign Languages. These courses are attended for 2 hours per week for a total of 40 hours, and these courses are not comprehended in the 35 fee I previously stated, okay? So we must pay another fee, another little fee to participate to this course. Basic, intermediate, and advanced computer courses and languages are the most chosen by our students. There is a great demand, and this is a phenomenon that we can observe in UNITE, but also in the popular university or in UNITRE. All people requested to have more information and more capacity in using computer, in using all the media accessories that we can use to connect to the world. During this period of pandemic, this necessity, this need is grow more and more because the use of computers, Skype, Teams, or other type of video conferencing system is the unique system to have a contact with the son, the daughter, and the children of the family that are spread in the territories. So it's probably we have had for the next 10 years a great demand of this type of courses, a great request to stay in this situation, because this situation has different scopes. We are not so only important to understand and to learn something new, to achieve new experience and new competencies, but it's also very, very important for the socialization system, to avoid the isolation of old people. Isolation is the principal causes of the reduction of cognitive capacity. The more I have good socialization, the more my cognitive capacity stay active, stay in progress. I can grow, I can achieve new results, and allow to me to have a better quality of life, and allow to me to have a longer life, and allow to me to have a more longer period of self-sufficiency. For this reason, training activities aimed at adults and other people do not only have a function of promoting knowledge, but they have also the function of promoting socialization. In the case of elderly, training activities contribute to active aging, foster social relations, and promote inclusion, or to put it better, counteract the exclusion from society of those who are no longer considered productive. So the problem, why we speak about inclusion of old people, because when old people go to retirement, they have a sensation to be excluded from the society because they are no more useful, they are no more productive. But this is a bad convention, because the experience that people has had during his life is very important for all the society, and they are able to share their experience to other people. They are able to make help to other people. We can, these old people are frequently involved in association with the objective to help other people, to help people less lucky, to help people more old, to help people not sufficient. So for this reason, I believe that it's very important that we speak about inclusion of old age people, using education, using university, using this type of courses to collect that person and to make this person able to maintain mental activity, maintain in generally the activity, and to have a better type of life, a better quality of life, and to have a sense to be more and more useful to other people and not simply unproductive and destined to wait, simply wait the death. The political and the approach of disengagement that is typical of the 60s years of the last century was past. It's not more actual, and so we must think to old age like a more productive period, a period that is productive in a different manner, not in the traditional manner, but is always useful for our society. Older people, like young people and the disabled, are frail, and acting to keep them within the society to whose development they have contributed is a social and moral duty, and is one of the UNIGE's objectives. And this is all, even if it's not an hour like Diana would hope. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Questions?
No. Yes, the advantage is mine.
So, can I ask a question? My question is about the education.
Can I say?
Sorry?
I would like to say thank you to Professor Franco for your prominent speeches. It was very interesting for us. And I visited Poland last year. They have the similar system of organizing education for the third age people, and I was impressed, but now I'm impressed even more because you really take care of your elders, and it's very important. And it's very impressive that so many people, and such a good system take care of the social group. Thank you so much for clarifying the main points and this very important issue.
Thank you to you.
I would like to ask a question. Can I?
Yes.
So my question would be about third age education, and is it for entertainment only, or do you also regard it as the means to prolong the productive life of older people, to make them a labor resource, as well as make their life better, entertain them, and help them socialize? What is the view on this mission of third age education? Thank you.
Unfortunately, in Italy, we have assisted in the last year to continuous move of the terms in terms of age for going to retirement. So when I start to work, you can go in retirement at about 55 or 60 years old, and now I am going in retire at 70 years old. And all the statistics that demonstrate that our hope of life is prolonged are used in our country to justify a new move on of the limits to go out from the work. So people is tired. And I believe that it's difficult that people can accept that the work can be prolonged more, okay? So in this time, the idea is that to shift the interest of old age people to the social program, and to use these resources in socialization, in activity that are useful for the other people, for society, for other old people who's unlucky, less lucky than the people that is active. And so this is the intention in this moment.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Fai facci che non ti pausa, no? A questi poveretti. No?
One more question. Is it a big queue among elders to be enrolled to such courses?
Cosa dice?
Еще раз вопрос.
Ну, я хотела спросить, есть ли такая, вот, знаете, очередь, например, в Польше, когда я была, там не просто так записаться на эти курсы для людей третьего возраста. А такая же ли система в Италии, или это свободно, кто хочет, то есть может быть записан? И может...
Molto chiaro adesso, sì.
Sì, l'iscrizione ai corsi, perché lei dice in Polonia erano tanto richiesti questi corsi, quindi in Italia come funziona? L'iscrizione è libera, c'è una selezione?
Libera. It's free. It's free.
So you can accept as many people as have such desire to attend your courses.
It depends on the type of courses. For example, I have a little courses in a popular university about, the name is Where I Lose My Key. Okay, it's on memory, and it is an interactive courses in which people have to do some exercises to maintain active memory and to export this type of system, of methodology in everyday life. Okay, in these cases there is a limit of people we can accept because of the type of education of teaching system. Okay. The technique we use is interactive, and so we are in about from 25 to 30 people. Okay, but in other cases we have a bigger room with 100, 200 people who attend to a lesson when the lesson is a frontal lesson. Okay.
Maybe I missed this information, but what is the middle age of your attenders? Middle age and the oldest one.
Older one. This is older. This people is theoretically at UNIT or UNIT you can have you can be enrolled if you have 30 years and more. But the percent of people so young is very, very low. The most people is people who are retired, that has time to spend and to frequent and to attend to the courses. So generally, if you have from 60 and over, and we have a lot of people over 80 years old. But the interesting thing is that in the normal university courses, not in UNIT, so in the courses that we perform for young people, we have also some older pupils that are capable to reach the master degree at the age of 80, 85. Okay. Yes,
what was which student was the most was the oldest one? For example, which age? 90, maybe. Which age?
For what I know, 88 is the highest I know, but this is all the experience of UNIT. Okay, but there are people that at 90 are very, very clever and very, very efficient. So better than some of us. I mean.
Thank you so much.
Other questions?
Genoa?
Okay, so now I will have a little of my presentations on active aging.
Niente tregua, proprio.
No, fino alle 12:30, poi finiscono all'1. And okay, I will share my presentation. Just a minute. File, salva con nome. Jean Monnet. Active. Tan, 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 tan. What you see? Nothing. Ok, ancora una volta. Che palla. Condividi, sfoglia. No. Condividi. No. Io non sento niente, non vi vedo neanche.
In questo momento stai facendo vedere training for Moldova Interprofessional Funds. Non credo che sia...
sorry, sfoglia. Okay, now I am taking my presentation, activating, okay. It's big one, yes, I know, because it's full of charts, full of images, because I was thinking that you will be a little bit tired, so a lot of figures here. Хорошо.
Okay.
You see my presentation, yes? It's about what we have spoke yesterday. And all the laws, and Professor Bokike has explained you something about this. And now we are going to okay. Here you see the students that здесь увидите то, что я не закончила в следующий раз. То есть это я вам оставлю, и это у вас останется. И видите, здесь мы говорили еще как по доступности, какие регионы более доступны, какие регионы менее доступны. И здесь физическая доступность и сенсориальная доступность. Здесь мы говорили о студентами с Special Education Needs. И здесь, я вам это уже объяснила, это у вас все останется. Я хотела немножко приостановиться здесь. Если вы посмотрите, то вы увидите, что все студенты, инвалиды это только 5 минут, чтобы приостановиться, они все-таки предпочитают профессиональные школы. Видите, насколько высок процент студентов-инвалидов в профессиональных школах и насколько низен процент в лицее. То есть, если мы посмотрим, только, вот, например, только где инвалидности со зрением, только студенты больше всего в лицее, а все другие виды инвалидности, вы видите, что большинство из них переходят, то есть предпочитают учиться в профессиональные школы.
А что такое профессиональная школа? Это как у нас, как когда-то ПТУ было, профессиональная
да,
техническая
вот так. Это техническое, да. То есть нет, есть технические институты, потом есть профессиональные институты. Профессиональный институт это которые учат им быть сварщиком, то есть вот учат в профессии. Понятно. То есть после того, как они заканчивают вот эти институты, они могут уже работать. А если мы, помните, что я вам говорила про инклюзию, и когда я говорила про инклюзию, помните, я говорила, что это будет и третий возраст, и это будет и женщины. Конечно, у нас про женщин вам расскажут в пятницу. Но вот вы посмотрите здесь, когда женщины в Италии получили право голосования в 1945 году. Женщины в Италии.
А до этого нет?
До этого нет. И уже первый, скажем так, как будет мэр, или как будет мэр, да? Это села вообще-то, так что председатель села, первая женщина была Нинетта Бартоли, и она была с 46 до 58 года. И она была в этом муниципалитете Борута, который является муниципалитетом Сардиния. Ну, это немножко, чтобы вы знали как это долго, то есть какой сложный путь для инклюзии, если мы подумаем еще об социальной инклюзии. Закон о разводе был, скажем так, 1 декабря 70 года. Это закон о разводе. То есть, чтобы вы поняли, сначала право голосования, потому что до 70-х года, то есть женщина не могла, развод вообще не существовал, так что представьте себе, что...
Жизненная каторга.
Ну, вот
только
так.
смерть разлучит нас.
А мужчины тоже не могли подать на развод?
Нет.
То есть это, наверное, связано с тем, что католическая страна была, достаточно сильные традиции, наверное, да, или нет?
Да, это где-то так, потому что даже если после Второй мировой войны была демократия крестьян, христианская демократия была как главная партия. То есть, чтобы вы поняли, как развивалась и политика самой Италии, и социальная политика. То есть, у мужчин не было смысла подать, потому что больше всего, кто подает на развод, это женщины, которые уже больше не могут, да, потому что мужчина, они больше всего адаптируются, да, пусть у него будет и другая женщина, еще другая женщина, а женщины, даже если они знали до этого года, то они не могли подавать на развод. И уже в 1978 года выходит закон об аборте. То есть, что женщины могут как бы тоже по праву абортировать. То есть, вот видите, насколько поздно все было сделано, да? То есть, до этого опять не имелось никого. И еще вам скажу, в 1968 году был даже референдум. Этот референдум сделал ДЧ, они хотели, чтобы все-таки жители Италии сказали нет аборту, но к радости...
Абортом или диворсом, или разводом? Abolition взяло в divorce?
Да, извиняюсь, разводу. То есть в 78-м, если мы посмотрим назад, в 78-м закон об аборте, я немножко перепутала, и тоже в 78-м году, скажем так, делается референдум, надеясь, скажем так, некоторые партии, христианские партии, надеялись, что все-таки жители Италии скажут, да, пусть пусть развод не существует. Но, к счастью, скажем так, можно даже так сказать, все-таки я что хотела вам здесь показать, я не знаю, если вы ее хорошо видите, все-таки вот смотрите проценты, то есть почти 41, да, разница не очень большая, если взять в жителях, то есть 13 миллионов и 19, то есть не очень, то есть те, которые... Все-таки почти 41% из жителей Италии, из тех, которые голосовали на этом референдуме, хотели бы, чтобы развода не было. Да? Все-таки, если посмотреть в масштабе этих показателей, то есть все-таки сомнения есть. И если по аборту, я... Опять, то есть, даже если кажется что-то история, что-то как бы нормально, да, но это не всегда так. То есть и сейчас об этом обсуждается. То есть насколько женщина имеет право абортировать и решать за жизнь ребенка. Конечно, церковь, она всегда против, так что это еще стоит под вопросом. Но скажу, что в некоторых иногда парламентарских заседаниях вот такие вопросы могут еще задаваться. То есть это совсем не прошлое. То есть если подумать о ситуации, скажем так, социальной ситуации Италии в нынешнее время, и если посмотреть про инклюзию, конечно, хорошо, что все, что было сделано по законам, но все-таки женщины всегда, как бы кажется, если мы посмотрим так, ну об этом вам еще в пятницу расскажут, должны быть как бы все время на чеку, то есть все время быть на чеку по поводу, насколько те права, которые они имеют, могут реализоваться в практику. И это про женщин. А сейчас я вам расскажу про active aging и инклюзия. Я себе здесь задаю вопрос, ли подходит, наверняка ли active aging соответствует инклюзию, и мой вам ответ, да, это соответствует инклюзии, потому что был создан такой индекс of active aging, и если вы посмотрите, вы увидите, что в этих показателях про активного старения входит и работа, и участие в обществе, и еще независимый и здоровый образ жизни, скажем так. И второе, что можно как бы жить в своем пространстве, возможность жить в своем пространстве. И если мы посмотрим под каждым показателем, мы увидим, насколько работоспособности разделяется на разные уровни. Видите, 70, 74, 65, 69 год, 66, 64, 55, 59. Почему вот такой маленький employment rate вы здесь видите? Это потому, что есть такие профессии, которые здоровье, да? Как бы ущерб здоровью из-за некоторых профессий. Вот те профессии, конечно, не выходят на пенсию намного раньше, чем другие. Потом, если мы посмотрим на участие или насколько общественное участие или активное участие в развитии общества, мы здесь увидим волонтерство, да, потом видим, насколько они занимаются детьми, то есть как бабушка и дедушка. Они иногда, как волонтерство, могут даже заниматься с больными, да, или с инвалидами. И, конечно, уже насколько они участвуют в политической жизни государства. Если мы посмотрим на такой показатель, как независимость и здоровый образ жизни, мы здесь увидим, что здесь есть, насколько они делают физические упражнения, то есть сколько раз они обращаются к здравоохранительным органам, могут ли они жить, то есть старшее поколение, жить независимости от других, насколько они имеют свою финансовую безопасность, потому что финансовая безопасность, помните, когда вам профессор Бокикио говорил еще об социальной стигматизации, да, то есть и еще, чтобы люди смогли жить достойно на их пенсию. И, конечно же, их физическая безопасность, вы видите, что вот в эту независимость, в этот показатель, вот смотрите здесь внизу, что здесь указано, в этот показатель входит еще lifelong learning, то есть их участие в них и участие на курсы, да, о том, что вам профессор Моннетти рассказал. То есть видите, что и это показатель входит в этот в сумму показателей активного старения. Конечно, здесь, если мы посмотрим уже как возможность или насколько они способность, скажем так, жить в окружающей среде, где дает тебе, как окружающая среда содействует, скажем так, активному старению. И здесь показатели такие, как насколько можно прожить дольше 55 лет, все показатели как бы оставляются, что может случиться после 55 лет. Но здесь еще входят такие показатели, как mental well-being, то есть когнитивное или даже, можно сказать, психологическое благополучие. И еще здесь, здесь мы можем посмотреть использование технологий или социальные, скажем так, связи, или насколько они рады своих социальных связей. И здесь еще опять входит, скажем так, educational attainment, то есть опять эти университеты или эти центры для 3-го и 4-го возраста. Вы видите, что если мы посмотрим на все эти показатели, то то, о чем рассказал вам профессор Моннетти, как бы содействует активному старению. И они входят и в lifelong learning, и в use of ETC, и в mental well-being, потому что профессор Моннетти вам не сказал, но когда люди выходят на пенсию, да, он сказал, что чувствуют себя уже ненужными, да, происходит как бы эксклюзия из общества, потому что они поработали, после того, как они поработали, и тем более работать дает как бы ритм жизни, а когда с одного дня на другой день этот ритм прекращается, то иногда не только добро пожаловать пенсия, но может быть еще такое добро пожаловать депрессия, да? Скажем так, у меня даже рифма здесь получилась. Поэтому с помощью вот этих показателей, где мы и физические упражнения, и мы можем, когда мы говорим о некоторых центрах или университетов для 3-го и 4-го возраста, они даже делают и зарядку, или йогу. И мы здесь можем видеть, что опять развиваются разные интересы. Или их учат, как пользоваться некоторых технологий. Тем более сегодня, в нашем нынешнем периоде, мы все время... Все наши сервисы и услуги все время уже перешли на да, и банкинг, и payment, то есть все делается через интернет или через помощью использования технологий. Поэтому и еще некоторые курсы разных университетах или центрах для 3-го возраста, они тоже как бы делают, помогают людям, как пользоваться и даже с тем же, как вам сказать, с тем же сотовым телефоном, да, чтобы уже, мы же знаем, что у наших телефонах очень много аппликаций, и иногда пожилые люди не знают, как этим пользоваться. То есть видите, как даже как даже университет или обучение в пожилом возрасте имеет очень небольшой эффект на такие показатели, даже не только на активное старение, но почти на такие показатели, как как активное старение. Опять вернусь к этому названию. И можно ли сказать, что активное старение – это инклюзия? Да, потому что когда людям показывается, что они все-таки могут быть активными гражданами нашего общества, то мы делаем им как бы empowerment, да, то есть они чувствуют, и тем более здесь являются и наши и психологи, и мы знаем, что если locus of control, да, мы помним такие исследования, внутренний, то есть я сам решаю за мою жизнь, то мое качество жизни будет намного лучше, чем если мой locus of control будет не интерно, а экстерно, то есть кто-то решает за мою жизнь. То есть, и даже если мы пойдем и посмотрим на эксперименты, которые были сделаны Селигмана, да, helpless learners, learned helplessness, да, помните такое о собаке. То есть вот представьте себе пожилого человека, который вышел на пенсию, и все за него кто-то начал решать, и он ничего не решает за себя. То есть мы поймем, что качество пожилого человека сразу же понизится, и даже не понизая качество. Почему? Обществу так интересно, чтобы наш пожилой человек активно старел. Потому что если он не будет активно стареть, это будет затраты общества, потому что он будет болеть, а лечение для него бесплатно, и все это опять будет как бы негативно влиять на общество. Поэтому, видите, кажется, скажем так, что это не только альтруистические виды, что смотреть на мир розовыми глазами, да, розовыми очками. Можно с экономической точки зрения тоже сказать, чем лучше пожилой человек и активнее он стареет, это тоже в благо самого общества. И поэтому даже активное старение, что это означает, если мы посмотрим это, что человек может независимо решить за свою жизнь, может и пойти развивать свои хобби, и пойти, может быть, получилось, что когда он был молодым, не имел возможности учиться, да, а сейчас, если он пойдет в университете третьего возраста, он почувствует себя студентом университета или развивать те навыки, которые во время, как он работал или должен был заняться детьми и все остальное, не было времени. То есть вот и, скажем так, что активное старение, да, для меня это и есть равняется и инклюзию. Если мы посмотрим здесь, вы знаете, что по этим показателям все время есть европейский барометр, который занимается вот исследованием и хочет как бы указать, на какие государства более, скажем так, хороши или лучше с активным старением. И мы видим, что все-таки Италия является как бы в зеленом цвете. Что это означает? Что, например, если мы посмотрим работоспособность, это где-то 25%, активное участие в жизни общества это 14%, но видите, здесь все-таки высокий уровень независимой жизни, 60%. Почти 67%. То есть, а если уже взять по среднем, видите, что все-таки Италия находится в государствах, которые по сравнению с другой Европой все-таки является на не очень высоком уровне. Если мы пойдем, потому что время остается, здесь опять то же самое, по регионам Италии, вы видите здесь, что все-таки юг Италии, как вы здесь можете видеть, даже по европейскому, скажем так, барометру находится ниже, чем другие регионы Италии. Если мы посмотрим по показателям активное старение по регионам и по полу, то есть какой пол и какой регион, мы можем сказать, что во всех регионах женщины показывают худшие оценки, чем мужчины. Но эти различия заметны из региона в регион, в том числе из-за влияния, можно сказать, которые производят различные местные политики или способствуют старению. То есть здесь заметно, то есть чем вот если мы посмотрим на этот файл, мы увидим, какая большая разница имеется даже между регионами. Смотрите, какая большая разница между, скажем так, в компании, регион компании, между женщинами и мужчинами, и какая маленькая разница в регионе или в независимом регионе Болцано, да? Вы здесь видите, насколько маленькие вот такие разницы. И Валдаоста тоже здесь вообще нету разницы по тем индексам, по тем показателям активного старения между Вале d'Аоста, между женщинами и мужчинами Вале d'Аоста. Скажем так, что у них, скажем так, активное старение одинаково. Потом другой регион, который тоже как бы хорош, только 2%, это регион Лигурии, о котором я вам тоже немножко, если успею, расскажу. Хорошо? Здесь давайте посмотрим
Сейчас, одну секундочку. Там на предыдущем слайде еще так интересно, если сам индикатор низкий, ну вот вообще он небольшой, Active Aging Indicator, то и разрыв, кстати, большой. А если маленький разрыв, то это больше и как бы этот показатель активного старения. То есть тут любопытно. Может быть, это просто именно отношение...
Нет, это очень много зависит потому что по активному старению регионы имеют право создавать свои регионы. Свои законы, извиняюсь. То есть это очень много зависит еще от законов.
Да.
Региональных законов. Видите, например, Умбрия. Если вы посмотрите у Умбрии, у них разрыв 6%. Да, у Калабрии тоже большой процент разрыва, и в Пулии. Но это, видите, это как и Европа, когда нас оценивала, сказала, что юг Италии все-таки больше проблем. Видите, да? Видите эти проценты, насколько они отличаются.
Хотя странно, вроде бы южане, даже климатически им должно быть там хорошо.
Да, то есть об этом, конечно, можно здесь, ну вот смотрите эти данные, то есть об этом можно еще подумать и проанализировать разные политики государств. Даже если я вам скажу, что Лигурия, если мы посмотрим, Лигурия все-таки является, видите, у них разрыв маленький, но Лигурия находится, здесь не учитаны эти показатели, но Лигурия находится, регион, самый старый регион, то есть по демографической точке зрения, самый старый регион, то есть где очень много пожилых людей в регионе Лигурии. И вы видите, здесь посередине написано Италия. Видите, разрыв все-таки большой. Но это из-за того, что, скажем так, разница между регионами очень большая. От 0 до 7,8%, да, процентов. Видите, да? То есть поэтому и средняя оценка Италии это 5,3. Но есть и хорошие примеры, как Болцано, как Вал d'Аоста И почему бы и нет, как Лигурия, потому что все-таки разрыв 2 только процентов. Хорошо, а теперь пойдем дальше, посмотрим по тем 4 показателям. Вот здесь опять, я думаю, вы видите, по 4 показателям указано, скажем так, как разделена, скажем так, Италия по регионам. Регионы, которые более выделяются среди других, если мы посмотрим в области занятости, являются Лацио, Тоскана, Эмилия-Романья, Марке, в то время как напротив, видите, Пuglia, Калабрия и Сицилия, да, вы видите эти их проценты, как они разделяются друг с другом. Скажем так, что если мы посмотрим относительные вклады активного потенциала старения, то есть не без сюрприза мы можем видеть, что он очень высок, скажем так, в Сардинии, да. 11 вклад это 11%, это 11% в Сардинии, да, вы здесь видите, как они не очень высок, но самый высокий вклад в активную жизнь это будет как ни странно, все-таки у Пули, да. И мы помним, что когда мы говорили об этом показателе вклада в активную жизнь как показатель, мы помним, что здесь входит еще волонтерство и насколько они следят за своими внуками, да, мы помним это, что в тот показатель входит еще и это, да, показатели вклады в активного старения. То есть мы видим, что вот даже если кажется, что Сицилия, скажем так, скажем так, что если в Сицилии такой низкий, то мы можем, нет, в Сардинии низкий, то в Сицилии он высок. Но высок тем, что там скажем так, семья еще традиционная семья, поэтому вот такой показатель может и объясниться этим. Если мы посмотрим в размер независимой жизни, опять мы здесь увидим, что очень высокие, скажем так, они почти, видите, здесь у всех почти за 20%, то есть самые низкие это 19,9, но и самые высокие это где-то 23,2, но не только. Я думаю, что у других есть еще 23. Вот в Сицилии опять, видите, опять Сицилия как бы, как и в прошлом показателе является самыми высокими. То есть, скажем так, что пожилой возраст в Сицилии не работает, выходит очень быстро на пенсию, но они увлекаются семьей, и их вклад в социальную жизнь, скажем так, высокий. И что касается социального участия, скажем так, в этот домен индекс выше, скажем так, в автономных провинциях Тренто и Болцано, в то время как Сардиния, Молизе, Вале д'Аоста и Лацио это где Рим, показывает самый низкий вклад, видите здесь последний, да, но все равно, если мы посмотрим на проценты все-таки высокие. А теперь давайте посмотрим, как развились эти показатели во время. И мы здесь увидим, что во время, если посмотреть в период между 2007 и 2012 годами, эффект экономического кризиса виден даже на этом графике. Да? То есть общий индекс активного старения колебается от отметки до 28% до 29,5%. То есть если мы посмотрим на это. Но если мы посмотрим активное старение в период с 2012 по 2018, то показывает как бы увеличение для всех регионов, то есть рост общей тенденции со средним по стране даже сигнализирует или показывает нам улучшение, да, с 29,5 пунктов до 30 и почти 34 пункта. Скажем так, что в году, если мы посмотрим на этот график, в 2018 году Эмилия-Романья, который в 2012 году был снят как бы с подиума тройки лидеров региона, но она выросла, скажем так, и уже в этом регионе как бы зашел и Венето. То есть мы видим, что опять здесь есть регионы, которые в годах как бы показывают себя лучше и выросли все-таки. Вы видите здесь общий рост, последние части нашего графика, где указано голубым цветом, насколько выросли эти показатели по активного старения по всем регионам. И вы видите, что, например, в Болцано вырос на 7,4, в Фриуле, Венеции, Джулия выросла на 7,7, почти 8%. И в Италии это, как всегда, 5,5, потому что она берет, как вы знаете, все средние оценки, и вы поняли, что разница даже по активному старению и по разным показателям, вы здесь увидели, насколько различаются разные регионы друг от друга, и насколько различается юг от севера Италии. А если вот вы видите здесь, скажем так, Фриуля, Венеция, Джулия очень хорош по этим показателям, и Болцано очень хорош по показателям. Но если мы посмотрим на другие показатели, и в чем это сама разница, что если вы видите, что активное старение не может зависеть только от устранения комплекса, скажем так, и я вам здесь покажу, где он. Вот этот график, это который мы видели, вот этот, видите? То есть здесь мы показали, насколько эти графики в 2007, 2019 и 2018. То есть вы видите показатели активного старения, о чем я вам рассказала, насколько они различаются в годах. То есть 2007, 2012 и 2018 год. И мы видим, что разница, если взять 2007 с 2018, очень высока, вся в плюсах, да? Но есть те регионы, которые отличаются больше от других. Это Болцано, это Фриуля, Венеция, Джулия в лучшую сторону. А Кампания отличается от других в худшую сторону, скажем так, да? А если мы посмотрим вот этот график, кажется, что у Фриули, Венеции, Джулия и в Болцане все отлично действует. А если мы вот здесь другой график, и в этом графике, почему он отличается от других? Ну, просто потому, что здесь был взят еще и пил, то есть вход в семью, насколько, то есть производство, потребление, инвестиции, то есть все показатели, которые связаны с благосостоянием. То есть и мы здесь видим, что все-таки больше всего, лучше всех, скажем так, это у Трента. И наиболее выраженные неблагоприятные ситуации регистрируются в основном в Пуле, в Сицилии, Калабрии. И уже немного лучше в Сардинии, Молизе. Но противоположная ситуация обнаруживается для Трентино-Алто-Адидже. Кроме того, представляет наилучшие результаты для обеих показателей. И после него следует Эмилия-Романья. То есть, видите, если мы к этим показателям, европейским показателям по активному старению поставим еще и благополучие или вход в семью, то мы увидим, что все-таки график может поменяться и может отличаться от других. То есть, скажем так, что все-таки лучше по этим показателям стареть в Трентино-Алто-Адидже. Да, но все-таки лучше не быть пожилым человеком все-таки вот в Сицилии, Пуле и Калабрии на юге. Даже если там погода лучше и море и все остальное там у них есть. Скажем так, что если мы пойдем по Лигурии, что делает наша Лигурия? Мы видим, что Лигурия, как я вам уже сказала, является одним из самых пожилым, скажем так, с демографической точки зрения народом, на популяции или население, вот так. То есть население, проживающее в Лигурии, показывает, что старение картина старения является достаточно ясным. Если посмотреть, что 28%, скажем так, жителей 50 и 65 лет, то в Лигурии это намного выше. То есть, скажем так, что в 2018 году более половины населения старше, скажем так, в Лигурии. И если посмотреть по ихнему уровню образования, то опять в Лигурии почти половина населения, которое больше 55 лет, имел низкий уровень образования. Ну, как я вам и сказала, поэтому здесь входит активную роль играет и университеты или центры образования для третьего возраста. Как я вам сказала, что если раньше люди не имели возможности учиться или выходили замуж рано, или находили после разных профессиональных школ или после школы место работы, то есть и не дали себе возможность обучиться, то сейчас с помощью, скажем так, развития таких программ, как университеты третьего возраста, можно сказать, что в Лигурии это тоже есть. Конечно, если мы посмотрим, как я вам сказала, и регионы могут делать политику для повышения показателей активного старения. И Лигурия в своем то же самое, скажем так, разработали политику активного старения. И политика активного старения в Лигурии полагается на 3 основных направлениях. То есть, скажем так, какие активные действия делаются для того, чтобы дать возможность людям активно стареть. Потом есть сектор социальных и здравоохранительных услуг, и есть уже сектор продвижения здоровья и совместного проектирования. То есть, скажем так, первый подход касается больше всего регионального закона, видите, он был принят в 2009 году, об активном старении, который предусматривает координационные мероприятия в области социальной защиты, продвижения труда, продвижения образования, постоянное образование, продвижение культурного и социального туризма, спорта, отдыха, то есть и участие уже с другими социальными и в разных социальных, скажем так, ассоциаций, да. То есть этот закон, скажем так, что он делает? Он делает так, что все организации, которые работают, действуют на территории Лигурии, должны сотрудничать между собой, чтобы выдвигать разные проекты для активного старения. То есть и не только для активного старения, но и для независимого вида жизни, потому что, как я вам сказала, независимый образ жизни все-таки очень важен для активного старения. Вот здесь эти три показателя, я здесь все вам об этом указала. Больше всего нас интересует, или когда я делаю разные исследования по этим вопросам, то больше всего, конечно, я сосредоточилась на какие проекты есть. И сегодня на территории Лигурии действует 4 проекта, но эти проекты, вы должны знать, что они входят, скажем так, некоторые сфинансированы разными фундациями, но большинство проектов приходят или финансируются структурными фондами, которые все-таки даются от Европейского Союза. И я надеюсь, что на этом я остановлюсь. Потому что будут еще другие презентации, не хочу, чтобы, может быть, повторяться. Вопросы? Но здесь должен участвовать и профессор Моретти. Профессор Моретти, se ci sono le domande, lei ci deve stare. Напишу им. Хорошо, вопросы?
Non è che io sono sempre qua, tutto chiarissimo, ho capito tutto.
Vabbè, dai grafici, sì.
Belli grafici, belli. Comunque sono qui.
Все вам понятно? Вы согласны с тем, что активное старение это равно инклюзии?
Да. Как вообще система, как вообще вот эти университеты третьего возраста, ну вот вообще принцип long life learning и подключение, вовлечение людей старшего возраста в обучение, как оно чаще всего и более эффективно реализуется в Италии?
Давайте я вам скажу сначала в общем, а потом по Италии скажет вам профессор Моретти. Когда